Hey, beautiful people, it's Rickita, and I'm back with another video slash podcast. Don't forget, even though you guys are most likely seeing this on YouTube, and I want to start putting them onto my new Instagram page, I am also going to put it onto all the podcast platforms. So make sure you guys follow me there. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. But this video, you guys, I think this is going to be amazing because this person right here, he does so much. And now when I found him, I was like, oh my gosh, he doesn't just do one thing. What exactly do he do? He does so much. So his name is Baskal. And tell us a little bit about yourself and like the main things that you do, because I know you do like a million things.
So the main things, I run 5 main companies: an accounting firm, an insurance agency, a mortgage company, a real estate investment company, and then a tax smart investment company that invests in crypto and green energy.
Oh, crypto. And I have been talking a little bit about crypto, so maybe we can touch on that just a little bit at the end. But I really want us to talk about, those people that really want to get like a mortgage, and also too for those people that self-employed when they actually do their taxes, because a lot of people mess up when they actually do their taxes. So I want you to give us a few strategies that they can actually do when they go ahead and file their taxes. And don't forget, he actually does their tax return. So if you're having problems right now, you may just want to hit him up and have him actually help you with your taxes. So let's get a little bit into, do you think we should talk about the taxes first or the mortgage? Which one you think will be like the most important thing we should talk about first?
I think the first thing is the tax returns.
Okay.
As you can't get a mortgage unless you have good credit.
True.
So let's look at the foundations. The foundations of a good mortgage are credit score. So the better your credit score, the better offer you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is going to be your tax return. Your tax return is going to show the history of your income. So the more you show as your income historically, the better you're going to get, more likely you're going to get approved, and for more money you'll get approved. The third is the amount of cash you have in your bank account as a down payment. The more money you have as a down payment is another factor on how much you can afford in a mortgage.
That's very true. And let's talk about like what should people have on their tax returns if they're self-employed, and also for the people that's just getting a W-2, just a regular W-2. What's like the main things for people that's like self-employed, what they should have?
So with self-employed, I see the most of the issues. One thing is inconsistency. They will do their taxes a different way each year, so they're not following a pattern. And when you're getting a mortgage, there's a government rule. The very basic rule says ability to repay. So they have to see, can you consistently pay the payment with no issues? If you're constantly changing the format that you're filing your taxes, it will make it very difficult for the underwriter to know what's going on, and it's going to make it look like you're unstable. And that's not good, right?
Yes.
We want to show stability. We want to show strength in the borrower. When you're doing your taxes, always do it the same way. And a very simple tip: someone will buy, say, a camera. You bought a camera, you bought a studio equipment, you bought a new laptop, you bought a new cell phone. You want to do all these things to make your podcast great. A lot of people will just expense them. They will just write them off as a business expense. What they should do is, instead of writing it off as just an expense, they should add all of these items to, let's say, studio equipment, and add them as an asset. Yes. So now you add it as an asset, and let's say it's $10,000. If you were making $50,000 and you wrote them off as an expense, that's going to lower your income to $40,000, and the bank will not add back the $10,000. So you'll only get a mortgage off of $40,000. But if your accountant sets it up properly and asks you the right questions, the $10,000 will not be expensed. It'll be added as an asset to your company, and then we will bonus depreciate all of those items year one. So then we're going to give you a depreciation of $10,000 on your tax return. So based off of your taxes, the IRS is only going to tax you on $40,000 of income. But when you supply the bank with your tax return, the bank's going to add back your depreciation and will give you a mortgage of $50,000.
That's huge. I never really heard of that so much either, in terms of just making sure that you put it as an asset, because depreciation is huge. And I know for some people that's out there, you should know that that can be added back on with your income. And what's a few other things? Because I got a few truckers out there too.
So what's nice about trucks is, for example, if you buy a truck and actually even an SUV, if you buy an SUV with a gross vehicle weight, I had actually a consultation call with one of my clients about this.
Mhm.
I said, if you buy an SUV that's over 6,000 pounds gross vehicle weight, the IRS will consider that heavy business equipment and can be bonus depreciated year one. So if you buy a truck in December, and let's just say $50,000 for the truck, instead of writing it off over, say, 5 years, you can actually write it, you can bonus depreciate it all year one and take the full $50,000 off against your income. So if you made $100,000, you're only going to be taxed on $50,000 of income. When you go to get a mortgage from the bank's going to add the $50,000 back and will give you a loan on $100,000 worth of income. So that is that's a good option for truckers. In addition to, there's ways for you can calculate miles and to get the mileage credit. So
Okay, that's perfect. And what about those people that may have messed up on their taxes? And I say messed up, they already put the deductions on there. Can they go back and do an amendment to their taxes? Is that something that you guys can help with also?
Don't forget, you only need a 580 credit score to buy a home. Some people can go all the way down to a 500 credit score. So all I want you to do is go ahead and click that link for my home buying program, and I'll help you step by step find a mortgage broker or find a bank to actually give you the money to get a loan, and then I'll connect you with one of my partners in the United States. So I don't care where you at. I don't care if you're in Georgia, Texas, Florida, Wisconsin. I don't care where you at. You can even be in Cali. Go ahead and click that link and join my home buying program.
yes, we can help people amend their tax return. Right now, it's a really good time to strategize and to do that, because if you're going to go for a loan next month and you amended it now, it's going to look a little funny. Now, you can do it, but you need to have a good explanation. But if you're doing it now and you're planning to file the 2021 tax return in January, February, March, and you have a gap between the time you're filing amendments and now, it will make a little bit more sense.
Mhm.
And that's a good idea, to readjust your tax return to reflect accurate information.
Okay, I see that. So you don't go and just amend your taxes and just think, okay, I amended it. Tomorrow I'm going to get a loan. Next
Yeah,
week I'm going to get a loan. Don't do that.
yeah. So, like, for example, like, let's an example of, oh, I had $50,000 worth of income and I spent $10,000 on equipment for my business, but I expensed it all. You can amend it and show that, no, what we did is we moved this $10,000 as an asset, then I depreciated the asset, and then the depreciation is not shown. So still, the net dollar amount is still the same.
Mhm.
So the IRS is still going to see the same zero. There is no taxable difference. But what's going to matter is to the bank to say, look, I didn't properly reflect what's going on, because this equipment shouldn't have been expensed, because I still own all this equipment. It's still being used. It still has a value. So I did it. I didn't follow the proper rules, and now I'm adjusting the tax return to reflect the proper rules, and that is logical.
Yes, and going forward, a lot of people don't know you need more than 1 year of tax return. So we're talking about this 1 year right here. How many years of tax return will be required for them to be able to get a mortgage?
Well, there's some good news now, because now you don't really need one. You don't need to have more than one good year.
Okay.
So I'll give you two examples, because it's really the details. Everyone thinks taxes is simple, insurance is, everything is simple. Conceptually, it's simple, but when you go into the details of getting the most out of it, it's not that simple. Here's an example. If you are a new business, you need at least 2 years of tax returns for that business, and they will average usually the last 2 years. So if you made 20,000 one year, 40,000 the next year, they add the two together, and they're going to say your average is 30,000. So we'll give you a loan based off of an average of $30,000 of income.
Mhm.
So with COVID, if your income dropped from prior year, it's going to be very concerning. So we want to make sure that we're having good explanations on why
Why?
it changed, because we can explain to an underwriter why it changed and give a logical explanation to still make you look good for the loan. Now, what also changed now is they have a Freddie Mac 1 year tax return mortgage available for small business owners, which is if your business has been open for 5 years, they will just take 1 year into consideration for your qualification of a loan.
Oh, wow.
But they won't average the last 2. So if your 2021 is very strong, but your 2020 and prior years aren't as strong, you can do a 1-year mortgage to qualify. Obviously, the less you document, the more you're going to pay. The more you document, the less you're going to pay. The less risky it is for them, the cheaper they're going to the lower the rate's going to be.
Okay. And for those people that's waiting on their 2021 tax returns because they want to file that so that they can go ahead and get a mortgage, when would those tax returns actually go into effect? When can they actually use those tax returns?
There's so many people out there with debt, so much debt, you guys, that they can't even get a car, they can't get a mortgage, they can't even get a credit card. Like, I mean, a $200 credit card. Some people can't even get a secure credit card. So that's why I created my exclusive credit membership, and it's only $1, you guys. So my exclusive credit membership, you guys will actually get the letters to delete bankruptcies, charge-off, repossessions, any negative account that you have in your credit reports. I have the letter so you guys can get that deleted. But guess what? Just because you guys are a part of my exclusive membership, you can get all those letters. But say if you don't want to do all that work, I have it so that you guys can get free credit repairs. So that means I will actually start working to help you remove these accounts from your credit reports. And look right here, look all the results that my clients are getting. So definitely remember, you guys can join my exclusive membership for just $1. And I'll have that link down below. Or you guys can text SCORE 21,000 and you guys will have that link. So I'll see you guys in my exclusive membership.
So normally once you file your taxes, say you did it in January 15th, because most software isn't really available till about January 15th, closer to the end of January. And you can attempt to get a loan right away, and it's possible. Sometimes it does take longer because they have to be able to get a 405(6)T, and it might take some time for the IRS to supply that to the mortgage company. But basically right away, if you file your taxes in January, you should be able to apply for a loan in February.
Okay.
And do your purchase or refinance. Now, things to consider. If you want your taxes done in January, that means you should have your books up to date right now. So we're in October of 2021. You should have your books from January to September up to date right now. And normally I have a meeting with my clients in this last quarter of the year to review their books to make strategic decisions on what are we going to do at the end of the year. Did you make a lot of money? Should you buy a truck or a laptop or a new cell phone or equipment, something to help reduce your tax liability? Should you invest in real estate or crypto or Bitcoin mining to get tax write-offs to reduce your income? So instead of paying Uncle Sam this extra money, you can actually use that cash to invest and get a tax write-off at the same time. So during this year, normally this part of the year, we'll start strategizing and figuring out what's the best option for you. What's your goal and how can we achieve that goal with the most financial and tax plan?
Because that's like the beginning, because that extra money that you're going to put on your taxes, you can put that towards your property, especially if you file your taxes correctly. That's less money you have to pay. Now, before we actually came on, you guys, we both agreed that if you are a first-time home buyer, you need to buy more than one unit. And that means that don't just go for your perfect single-family home. You're thinking this is it, it's quit. Go and get multiple units. So explain to me, when you have clients, what do you really tell them about buying multiple units? And then how hard is it for people to buy multiple units?
So in my example, I bought my first property when I was 19 and I bought a duplex. And I basically tell everybody to take that advice, do it yourself, buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex. Your first property is usually the easiest one to get. So go for it. And if you do it right, you could live in one side and potentially have the tenant pay from their rent enough to cover the mortgage, taxes, and insurance on the property. So you'd be living for free.
Basically.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And I did that, and then I did it again and again and again, and I grew my portfolio and had 23 units by the age of 23. By using really basic concepts. I didn't have money. I wasn't born in this country. No one gave me money. You know, I made $8 an hour, and I saved up all my money and saved enough money for the down payment. But your first property is the easiest. Owner-occupied duplex isn't that much more. It's actually equivalent amount of work as getting a single-family home. And your first property is not your forever home. So it's really nice to kind of want to get a flashy car that's really exciting and fun to drive, but that's also not your forever car. And most of the time, you're gonna bang it up a little bit. So if you're gonna buy a rental property, buy it in a good area, but live on one side and rent out the other. And as you grow, it'll be faster for you to get to that forever home, because now you have a duplex. One side's paying you rent. When you move out, the other side's going to pay you rent. The bank will consider even the imaginary rent that you could get will be able to be added to your income when you go for your forever home. So now you have your income from your job. Your spouse has income from her job. You have both of the incomes from the rental property. Now using all of that money to qualify for the forever home you want. And the longer you wait, the more patient you are to then buy another multi. I owned, I think, over 23, maybe 25 or 27 units before I bought the first property that I really liked. The rest of them were just really good areas, smart decisions that were good investments. And then as I bought another rental, I bought a nicer property. Then I bought another rental, then I bought another nicer property. And I rolled it up, kept rolling up into something nicer and better. Because if you think, I'm going to save my money till I can get this perfect house that I want, we're going to go through a hyperinflationary period in this country. By the time you think you can afford this property, it already doubled in value and you can't afford it anymore because your money is going to be basically worthless.
And then too, you'll have residual income.
Exactly. And
so if something was to happen,
go ahead. Yeah.
So if something was to happen, look, you have all these properties that you worked hard to get, basically, and all you're doing is basically putting it in your name, and you're just flipping your money. Like you said, roll it up. That's all you're really doing. How hard is it for people to get the mortgage?
The first mortgage is very easy. The second mortgage, second mortgage, not in the sense of a HELOC, but meaning the second property you purchase, becomes a little harder. Now you can move out of this duplex and move into another duplex that's a little larger, because it will make sense financially and it'll make sense to the bank to say, well, why are you moving out of one duplex into another duplex? Is this really your primary residence, or is this just another investment property? Well, it is my primary residence because this duplex is larger than that duplex and I need more space for my household. Logical answer. That's acceptable. So then the next one could be, and again, their tax returns need to match your income model so you could qualify for that loan. So it has to all match. It's all about strategy and planning. And if you plan right, then all of it will lead to one answer, your success. So it's really about planning. The government, the IRS is a quasi-governmental agency. The mortgage companies are quasi-governmental agencies, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And they check each other. So they have to make sense. Otherwise, if it doesn't, you won't get it. If it does, you will get the loan. Really simple. Like when you realize that, then it's not like, oh, it's unfair. Well, no, it's fair. You show them what they want to see, they're going to qualify you. And they even tell you what they expect. The IRS explains to you how you're taxed. It's all up front. It's, do you have the right professionals working on your side that can educate you on how to set up your company, on how to set up your finances to be successful?
That's really huge. And after people get their first property, when you look into other properties, maybe you can look into Airbnb. I know you have a few of that on your page, a few of those examples on your page on how they can actually, go ahead and purchase a home for Airbnb. Tell us a little bit about their strategy. Like, what strategy would you have for someone when they purchase their first home? Maybe it's up to 4 units, or maybe it's not, it's only a duplex. What strategy would you give them so that they can actually start getting into the Airbnb business?
So Airbnb, and you said it right, it is a business. It is not passive income. It is a business. It is a very profitable business if done properly. So one, whenever you buy real estate, it's always location, location, location. If you buy in a great location, people are going to want to rent it annually. They're going to want to Airbnb it. If you don't buy a great location and you buy based off of price, no one's going to want to rent it. Or the type of tenants that you might not want are going to rent it. So you have a stable loan payment. It's very consistent every month. You want to pick an area where the income from that, the jobs that are offered there is also stable.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what type of job. I'm not saying, rent in a high class area. What I'm mentioning is you want to rent in an area where they have consistent income. Teacher, nurse, mechanic, they're always going to have a job. Right? They're essential. So you have essential income coming in that can pay you. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, I prefer to rent in areas where it's like nurses, there's some activities in the area, some fun stuff to do as well. Areas where you would want to hang out with on the weekend with your family. That's the area I buy in. And I would buy a duplex. Live on one side, rent out the other. Now, eventually you decide you want to start Airbnb-ing it and renting it out for 1 month at a time. That's a portion of my business. We have 52 units right now that we own, and they're about $250,000 to $500,000 per door. And we would rent them out on Airbnb. Now, we don't have 3-day stays. We usually have a 1 month stay.
Oh, okay. I used to do those. I know those. I love those.
It's really nice because it's not like every 3 days someone's churning. It's 1 month. Normally, if they're here for a month, they're not going to trash the place because they're staying for a month. They're either, like, for example, like son lives in a really nice house down the street. The mom doesn't want to stay with the son when she's here visiting. She wants her own place. So she'll rent a 1-bedroom apartment or a 1-bedroom unit, part of the duplex. And they'll pay $4,000 a month for something that would probably go for $1,500 a month. So it's very profitable. It's an older woman, so she's going to usually take care of the property. It's a very clean business that is good profitability. We have nurses that will stay for the month. I have professional athletes that come down for spring training that will stay within my properties because we have the Rays Stadium next to one of my properties. We have the Blue Jays Stadium next to one of my properties. And we have the Pittsburgh Phillies by another one. So we have professional athletes, strength and conditioning coaches, marketing people staying in our properties as well. So you can target to increase your probability of success. And that's what we do. Like, you don't know what's going to win, but you can increase the odds of being successful. And people want to be in a nice area. That's the first thing you can do.
Oh my gosh, you guys, look at these results that one of my clients got just from opening a self account. Now, this self account is amazing. So I had this account also. I paid $48 per month, and then after a year, they send me all my money back. But you know the best part? I'm saving money, and then they're reporting to the credit bureaus, all 3 credit bureaus, every month that I'm paying on time, which is really boosting my credit score, you guys. So definitely, if you don't have a self account right now, it's an installment account, your credit score is really low, get that self account. You're going to be so happy that you did it.
So when people are, even when you're going for your first property, you need to think about all of this, not just, oh, this is a nice area in terms of it's cheaper, I'm going to get more for my money. You need to look at everything that's going on in that area, and two, how much the value of that property can go up and what's going on around that property in terms of who's actually working around the property. So don't just say, oh, it's nice. This looks really nice. Let me go ahead and buy it. You need to look at the numbers, and you need to look at the value, the potential value, and how much that area is growing. That way, when you go and try to do different Airbnbs, you already got everything set up in terms of, you're going to have a great area.
So I'll give you an example. I met with another client, and his wife made $2.3 million. And that was her income for the year. And he's like, I've been doing all the studying and met with a bunch of different advisors regarding investing in real estate and different advisors investing regarding like tax savings. And everyone's talking about investing in a $200,000 house and renting that out and so on. I said, that's a good idea, but you currently have a good amount of cash flow. You don't need to buy $200,000 homes and get cash flow. You already have cash flow. You need tax deductions. You should be buying higher end properties, and because those higher end properties are going to go up in value usually faster than a $200,000 starter home. What people look at, a lot of people look at is cap rate. If you don't know what cap rate means, it's capitalization rate. If I paid cash for something, what percentage return would I be getting? Similar to like a CD. If I put $100,000 into a CD, will I get 1%? That'd be a 1% cap rate. If I put $100,000 into a house, what would I make in a year? 4%? That's 4 cap. So people will look at cap. They're like, oh, I want an 8 cap. I want a 10 cap. Well, just because you're getting that cash flow, that's only one part of the full picture. There's properties in this country that you could buy and get a 12 cap or 14 cap. But that area is losing people. So next year, in that specific part of the area, the house is worth less than what you bought it for. So you made it up in cap rate, but you lost it on your total, it's called internal rate of return. Basically, how much is it? How much did you make between the rent you make and when you sell it in 10 years? So some of the properties I will tell someone to buy is that, okay, it's better for you to buy maybe this 5 or 6 cap property because you don't need a crazy amount of cash flow. You're still working. You're not going to be blowing all this extra money. You don't really need it. But what will happen is you'll make up all that percentage that you gave up on cap rate. You'll make it up on your internal rate of return because on 10 years, when you sell it, the property is going to double or triple in value. Where another property that gave you a higher cap rate isn't going to double and triple value. Maybe it's only like 30% 10 years from now. So you can choose to make it up in rent, or you can make it up in value increase. Or you can do both with Airbnb. But it's all location dependent for you to accomplish that goal.
And then too, you also have it set up for those people that's like, okay, y'all are talking about too much. This is too much. I need help. Don't you have it set up where people can actually come and invest with you?
Yes. So we buy properties in like downtown St. Pete, downtown Tampa, downtown Safety Harbor, downtown Dunedin, really, really hot markets that even if an investor came and said, I got $100,000 to invest on my own, we would tell them that's not enough money. You can't afford anything in this market. But they know that this market, and as you guys know, Florida is exploding. It's on fire. What we do is we bundle together. So like 3 months ago, we raised $3 million. All these investors put money together and we manage this fund. So we went and bought a bunch of different properties and put it all inside of this pool. And they own, say, one investor put in 300 grand. They have 10% interest. So they make 10% of all the profits made from all the different properties we bought. This way, you're not worried about that one house or that one duplex you bought. If it caught fire and now you don't have any rents for 6 months or 12 months while it's being rebuilt, well, now you have a portion of 12 different duplexes or 20 different duplexes, and you'll get 10% of each. So if one goes bad for some reason, God forbid, you still have the distribution of your income coming in from multiple properties. So we distribute the risk, distribute the return, and thank God I've never had a building burn down because we remodel everything we buy. We remodel electrical, plumbing, AC, roof, windows. So most of our properties are basically brand new when we're done with it. So we don't have any, we reduce the probability of unforeseen things popping up like a water heater exploding. No, we're changing the water heater right now, and we're putting the water heater on the outside of the building, not the inside, and we're making it gas. So it reduces electric. And if anything happens, God forbid, it's exploding on the outside of the building, not inside where it could damage our brand new cabinets that we put in. So I've been doing this construction since I was 14, buying my own property since I was 19. So I've seen so many things happen So when we remodel our properties, we do it in the beginning to say, okay, this could happen. Let's reduce the probability of that happening because we're going to do it anyway. Why don't we do it right? So we put it on the outside. We do certain things that are like, this is going to be a lot of value for, a homeowner, open concept kitchen to the living room. If we're going to remodel it, might as well do it now. Let's do it right. Provide them the most value and make it tenant resistant. Some tenants, most of the major damage I've had on any property was never malicious. It's only happened one time that someone maliciously did something to a property. The rest of the times where a property got damaged significantly, it was just ignorance. Mm-hmm. Like they just made bad decisions, and we had to pay for those bad decisions. So if you build it right in the beginning, you could be very resistant to their bad decisions.
So is that more hands-off too? When people want to invest with you, is that more hands-on too with knowledge?
It's very mixed depending on what the person's looking for. So for example, we have passive investors where they're investing passively and they get passive income and passive write-offs. The big benefit is we set it up tax-wise to get good tax write-offs. So say someone invested $100,000. Likely when we do our cost segregation model, they're going to get $70,000 to $80,000 off on their taxes that year. So you're like, oh, I owe $40,000 in taxes. Well, you could potentially invest $100,000. You would get 70 to 80 off of your taxes, which would reduce your tax potentially $32,000, depending on your tax bracket, what state you live in, and different factors. So you get a return on investment from your initial investment on your tax savings, and then everything else is just additional gravy that you're making from the property and from the appreciation. So we have full hands off, or we can help someone with their process. Mm-hmm. And we also have active investors that get active write-offs. So for example, we have a lot of people, like, let's say for yourself, you're a real estate investor. You're an investor. You're going to come on and join the team, part of an investment pool. We're going to invite you on to review some of the properties we're going to buy, go through strategy calls. You're going to say, I like this one, I don't like that one. We're going to work together on that. You're an active participant part of our deal. And let's just say your husband is a doctor and your husband makes $200,000 worth of active income. And active income, as we learned from Robert Kiyosaki, is our highest tax bracket. Well, you, as a real estate investor, with your experience and the time you spent in this business, you invest $100,000, right? Your husband gives you $100,000 to invest for the family. You put $100,000 into this investment. You get a write-off of $80,000 in this example against active income. That negative goes on your tax return, which you and your husband share. So that negative $80,000 goes against your husband's active income. So he has a huge return for that. So there's a lot of families that are like that work with us, that we can advise and assist with this process.
Yeah, this is all amazing. I wish we can keep talking about more of it, but I like that they have different options too, because some people, like, they just want to put their money in. Like, okay, let me know what's going on. And some of the people want to be more active with it. And if you guys don't know about like deductions on your taxes, I think that's like the biggest thing. Not even just deduct this, just write-offs in general and ways to actually pay less. Let's just say that, pay less in taxes. Then definitely make sure that you actually reach out to him. And thank you so much for actually coming on. Thank you for giving us all your knowledge, well, at least a piece of it, because we didn't even touch on everything that you actually do. But thank you for actually coming on. And if you guys have any questions, definitely make sure that you guys reach out to him. And if you guys are looking to invest, make sure you follow his YouTube page and his Instagram page, because he go over the bird strategy and things like that, which I always talk to you guys about. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you again for coming on to my podcast.
Thanks, Rickita. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's so many people out there with debt. so much debt, you guys, that they can't even get a car, they can't get a mortgage, they can't even get a credit card. Like, I mean, a $200 credit card. Some people can't even get a secure credit card. So that's why I created my exclusive credit membership, and it's only $1, you guys. So my exclusive credit membership, you guys will actually get the letters to delete bankruptcies, charge off, repossessions, any negative account that you have in your credit reports. I have the letter so you guys can get that deleted. But guess what? Just because you guys are a part of my exclusive membership, you can get all those letters. But say if you don't want to do all that work, I have it so that you guys can get free credit repairs. So that means I will actually start working to help you remove these accounts from your credit reports. And look right here, look all the results that my clients are getting. So definitely remember, you guys can join my exclusive membership for just $1. And I'll have that link down below. Or you guys can text SCORE 21,000 and you guys will have that link. So I'll see you guys in my exclusive membership.